Howdy folks, I officially gave in. I'm using the bigger of my two tripods, which I usually use for questions from the plank. Still haven't found the small one. That's almost becoming a weekly update at this point. I really have to look through that, get some more boxes unpacked, so it actually feels like we've moved into this place. What kind of a week has it been DDP yoga wise? Pretty good as far as the workouts are concerned. I missed a fat burner and an energy. And I'm still owing the week of Red Hot Core. I think I'm going to start doing my Red Hot Cores at the end of a workout. What I've been doing is I've been leaving them until after I come in from work, and I've been finding energy really good to do as soon as I come in from work. I don't engage particularly much in it, but I'm finding excuses to miss the Red Hot Cores, and that's never good. So the simple solution is just to move them back to before work when I seem to be doing better with that kind of thing. And they're usually attached to fat burners, so that's pretty handleable. I'm thinking of adding a third one to the week as well, but I want to start doing two consistently before I try anything like that. Food-wise, it's been a bit of a mixed week. We decided to have a celebratory day, which in this place usually means pizza, because I'm a huge fan, which about doubled my calorie intake for that specific day, and it was the day I also missed the workout, and not particularly good. But we're right back on track now. I think a key to this, the DDP yoga lifestyle, and the reason the word diet is a word you really want to avoid, is because I had a pizza. I don't consider myself to have gone off the wagon in any way. I don't have a wagon to get off of. It's my life. It's what I do food-wise now. There's no such thing as doing something special, and I'm not destroying my lifestyle by having a single pizza. On that note, actually, because I would be really quick to shout out any company that wasn't doing this, we actually went to Domino's. No, they aren't sponsoring me in any way. Don't look at it that way. But what I did find out is A, they do gluten-free bases, which is kind of awesome. And B, they're actually a company that has full nutritional information for the food they do on their website. Now, not a lot of fast food places have that. Although I was told by a friend that companies in the US have to have this printed somewhere. Like in the restaurant, but that's not something which is a rule over here. So it was actually really useful to find that and find out, just how bad the food was I was actually eating. But I have to give kudos where kudos is due. Anything else? Yeah, weight-wise, I did weigh in this week. I haven't actually lost any weight at this point. It's important to note on the road to 200. I've kind of been varying depending on when I weigh myself between 229 and 227. I suppose you could count the 227 as weight loss at this point, but obviously with having the pizza and a few other things, I can't guarantee which one of those numbers is particularly consistent now. I actually have to start using my scales in a consistent room as well. That is going to start making a difference, I'm aware of that. But that said, I have found one of the goals, if you follow me on Facebook, don't think I mentioned it on these, is to fit into a pair of 34-inch waist jeans. I actually bought a pair when I bought the 36-inch waist ones I did the photograph of. And they're actually, I tried them on today, they're feeling a lot easier. I think I could probably get away with wearing them. I'm actually going to get Susan's opinion when she comes in. You guys may see a photo of me in them, either today or tomorrow, which would be kind of cool. And I'm actually finding the workouts themselves are getting easier, which could be to do with the fact that I'm back doing them consistently. Although that said, I did swap over a couple of workouts this week. Something I love about the way this program works. So yesterday should have been my diamond cutter. Had the pizza the day before, wasn't really feeling up to it. Did my below the belt, went really well. Did my diamond cutter today, which I absolutely owned. Average heart rate of 123. Important note, actually, guys, as far as the heart rate thing is concerned. So my fat burning zone is between 130 and 150. So when you hear an average heart rate of 123, that maybe sounds a bit low. The thing you have to remember when you're looking at your average heart rate, guys, is my heart rate personally starts off at around 70 beats a minute. Now my cardio is great. It's not spectacular, but I do DDP yoga 7 days a week at this point, usually 2 or 3 times a day, because I always do wake up as well as the before and after work workouts. My heart rate takes a little while to get into its fat burning zone. Usually with something like Diamond Cutter, it's about the first 10 minutes I'm getting into the lower part of my zone. and I try and keep it around 140, which is obviously in the middle of my zone. So I don't see a lot of 150, stuff like that. So an average of 123 is actually probably about right for where I want to be. It's just, if you're starting out, I know it's something which you can get very nervous or very over-focused about, in fact. Don't go through the positions, get the flexibility going, work on the engagement and the breathing as well. It will eventually get there. And to all the new people who are watching this, I know there are a few of you, welcome. It is fantastic to see you. If you see me on Team DDP Yoga and I'm not gabbing away, which will be unusual, or plugging this blog, actually, feel free to ask me anything you like. I am quite happy to help out new guys, and I highly recommend it for any of the more experienced guys out there that are watching this. Go into the room on Team DDP Yoga, take 10 minutes. That's the evangelical part of that over with. Anything else to report as far as the week is concerned? No, I don't think so. Suze and 12 are doing well. Had a doctor's appointment. Everything was absolutely hunky-dory, which means good if you're not British and haven't heard that one before. Not used to having an international audience. But got to see a scan. Didn't see a huge amount. Saw a pair of ribs, a set of ribs. Saw a leg. I tell you, I saw 2 legs, saw 1 arm. So currently I'm having a 1-arm baby. We'll hopefully see the other arm on another scan, but everything is absolutely fine with the pair of them, so that's awesome. Now, I wanted to do a quick 2-3 minute thing here, which will probably turn into a 10 or 15 minute thing. We all know how I work on this blog by this point. Just to talk about positivity. So I've had a few new guys talk to me, and actually I did write a written blog on this, I think, so apologies if this is repeating myself for anyone who's seen that. What I wanted to talk about was positivity, especially on somewhere like Facebook or most social media. If you're starting out and you have friends that aren't doing the program, or if you're an experienced person and you're trying to keep your new positive lifestyle going, the first thing I would say on that is not everyone is going to be able to come on this journey with you. I started off as 375 pounds, as you all know, and there are people who were very negative at the concept of me doing an exercise program, very it'll never work type people, you'll never keep the weight off type people, and hey, it's been 15 months at this point and I'm doing well, but 15 months is only 15 months, how to keep this going. But effectively, there are multiple ways of dealing with these people, but the first thing I would say is you have to maintain your own positivity. One of the things Dallas talks about when he's talking about food is the concept that you are in charge of whatever food you put in your mouth, which is absolutely true. Peer pressure and stuff aside, ultimately the only person who decides what you eat, unless you're being force-fed quite literally, is you. Positivity works the same way. And during a conversation I had with someone recently, I actually described negativity as an addictive substance. Which it is. It's very difficult to let go of once you have it. If you use it as something you use regularly, it's actually quite safe. It's far easier to be negative than it is to be positive from a safety zone sort of perspective. But it's an addiction, negativity. And the thing about it being an addictive substance is, much like anyone who's ever gotten off an addictive substance will tell you, one of the worst things you can do as far as increasing your chances of reoffending is to be around users of it, or pushers of it. And yeah, there are people who push negativity on you. That's not even a question. So when it comes to places like social media, you have to decide what you're going to do about those people. And I'm talking about people who could be long-term friends. The system I personally operate, regardless of who it is a one warning system. So effectively, if they say something I don't appreciate, it'll never work, comment, you're kidding yourself, this is a fad, that kind of thing, I message them, tell them just once, don't appreciate that, trying to keep a positive outlook here, I consider what you're doing to be unfriendly. It's a very good phrase. If they continue, Facebook and Twitter and etc. are awesome for having ignore functions, block functions. If you really don't want to remove them from your friends list, but you don't want to see them, take them off notifications. You don't need that in your life, especially when you're just starting out. Now, kind of a further on point to that is I've had a couple of people, I'm not going to mention names here, who have been speaking about people bringing them down in person, people being very negative, and I've said to all of them, well, why haven't you just stayed positive? Like, unless they're actively scuppering something you're doing in some way, why not just stay positive about the whole situation? And I heard the same thing from both people. Oh, well, I tried, but so-and-so was being really, really negative, and it just, I don't think you can be positive enough in the face of that. Well, okay, first things first, you can never be too positive. You can irritate people with how positive you're being, but I'd far rather be irritated by someone being positive than I would irritated by someone being negative. And what that boils down to is kind of where this whole little speech was going. You have to drag people up. You cannot let other people drag you down. And the funny thing about being dragged down by people, much like talking about negativity being an addiction, is it's choice. One of the big points Dallas made in his Q&A, I think it was the Cork one. Videos of those are coming, guys. I know. I can see the pitchforks and torches through the camera. It's quite spectacular, really. But one of the things Dallas mentioned during his Q&As is you have to be in charge of the story you tell. Now, he mentioned it specifically with reference to Jake Roberts wearing a t-shirt that says "Wasted Youth." And he's talking about the fact that when you speak to Jake, and I had the opportunity to speak to Jake, but only very, very briefly. But I have seen him on interviews and things, both now and previously. And Dallas is absolutely right. Jake will talk a lot about his past, and if you don't know Jake Roberts' past, go look it up. It's an absolutely tragic past he has. But that was all he was talking about. If that's all you talk about, if the story you're telling yourself is about how tragic a background you had, that becomes you, effectively. If that's the story you're telling yourself, that's the story you're telling everybody else. That's you. That's the same with any negative story you're telling about yourself. I mentioned earlier on, I had a pizza this week. This whole video could be me talking about how that absolutely destroyed all the good work I did and how I was down to 227 pounds and I'm back up to 229, but that's not what this is. That's not the story I tell myself. The story I tell myself is, hey, this is a lifestyle. I made a decision, possibly wasn't the most sensible thing. I'm back doing the stuff I should be doing. That's awesome, you can't knock down a coconut every time, as the saying goes. And I think that is vitally important, the story you tell yourself. Now that comes to interaction with others as well. If the story you're telling yourself is that the person next to you absolutely cannot be redeemed and they are just being negative and all that's going to do is destroy your positive state of mind that you worked so hard to build, that even causes anger because you can't believe they're doing this to you after all the hard work you did putting together this positive state of mind. This person said something and it really knocked you off kilter for the whole day. Sorry guys, bullshit. You are telling yourself that that person is being allowed to destroy the positive frame of mind you put yourself in. You are telling yourself that it's okay to be negative. You are giving yourself an excuse to be negative because being negative is an addiction. And if you were negative previously and had that addiction, which if you had a generally negative outlook on life, you had the addiction, all you need is one excuse to go into that mode again. And I've been there as well. I'm not claiming to be a saint. A huge part of these videos is the fact that what I do with the DDP yoga and with the outlook on life is not a magic trick. It's something anyone can do if they just do it. The positivity thing is the same thing. If someone says something negative, and you can't get away from them, let's say it's a work colleague, you're stuck next to someone on a bus, that kind of thing. You can tell them you don't appreciate the negativity, but I understand as well you can't get away from it. Which is why you need to bring your A game where the positivity is concerned, internally and externally. And they can be telling you all about how you're, full of crap, how what you're doing is a fad, this, that, and the other. The only way that affects you in any way, it affects your mood, affects your outlook, affects whether or not you're going to go home and own your DDP yoga for the day, is if you let it. I'm going to coin a phrase on this one. So Dallas talks about food, you're in charge of what you put in your mouth. I'm also going to argue you're in charge of what you let filter through your ears into your brain. You know, if someone's giving you negativity, help if you can. If not, just disregard. Just use whatever the friend equivalent of yes dear is for your particular group. And you know, when they're out of the negative spiral they're in for any amount of time, then try helping them. Because you'll feel better for doing that anyway. I'm not saying it's going to work, but try helping them. You will feel more positive for it. Again, I've rattled on about this far too long at this point. It is not about letting them drag you down. It is about either pulling them up or keeping yourself positive. That is what it has to be about. And I'm going to leave that particular concept there, except to say, obviously, never underestimate the power of your own enthusiasm. That's a huge part of being positive. Do I have any housekeeping to end this video on? Let's think. First of all, do you all like my sofa? It's the first time I think I've done a video on it. It cost me €50 second hand because I have 6 cats and there's no point to buying a new one. Sofa. Looks awesome, right? I know. Do I have anything else? Nope. Just to say, thank you for all the feedback we're getting, me and Suze both, on questions from the plank. Everyone seems to love the trivia thing. Yeah, the questions were really easy this week. That set one hell of a bar. I was really chuffed with the 3-minute plank as well, actually. I cannot believe I almost forgot this. This blog hit 5,000 views yesterday, guys. That is absolutely amazing. A huge thank you to everyone who comes along and watches. Please feel free to share this with your friends. That's what the blog is for. If you are going to start DDP Yoga and you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook, sign up to Team DDP. If you want to buy it right now, you can go and click on the little DDP Yoga ad I have on the right hand side of the blog. Just a huge thank you to everybody again. It really does mean a lot that some of you have time to sit here and listen to me talk for what is probably going to be about 18 minutes by the time I finish this video. You all stopped watching like 5 minutes ago. Doesn't mind, I know Suze watches. Yeah, so that was everything. I've already said it once this video, but I think you can always say it twice. Guys, never underestimate the power of your own enthusiasm. Peace, I'm out.